morning, everyone, and let's see, I'm going to, since you're all seated, invite you to start to focus on your breath. And today let's think a little bit about posture. So like shoulders over your hips, and then sitting in whatever way you're comfortable so that there's no discomfort in your ankles, your knees, your hips, the low back. And as you're breathing, noticing how your body feels and where your mind is at. Are you here in this room with me at this moment? And can you stay present to your breath and your body as we move through the practice today? So no matter how slowly or quickly, or if the movements are challenging, just being present with whatever comes up. And then you might want to set your intention as to how you want to feel after practice or throughout your day. All right. So welcome. And we're going to start with just stretching out your toes a little bit. So just literally stretching your toes away from one another. And then massaging the foot in some way. So like I like to use the thumbs on the bottom of my feet and the fingers on the top of the foot and just kind of going through the whole foot. And then you might choose to lace your fingers in the back of the toes and roll through the ankle a little bit. A couple of times in each direction. And if you can't fit all your fingers in, it's okay to leave a finger out or to even just hold the top part of your foot. So the idea is to help create flexibility in our feet because there are lots of bones in your feet, right? Lots of things going on in our feet. Now, when you feel done with that, and I know I went through all of those things pretty quickly, but you're going to move at your own pace. Then we're going to move to the second foot and again start by stretching the toes away from one another, thinking about the idea of covering more surface area when our feet are on the ground. And then massaging the foot in whatever way feels good. And then possibly lacing the fingers in through the back of the toes and rolling through the ankle a couple times in each direction. And then when you're complete with that, you can either use your hands or the tennis balls. For this next part, we're going to roll around, so circular motion around the ankles, and then long strokes up the lower part of the leg. So one of our, so you could take the tennis balls and use them, kind of exfoliate, and it's a little bit warmer, and there's that friction of the felt from the tennis ball on your legs. And some people prefer their hands. Now, whenever you're done with the lower legs, I just want you to make circles around your knees. And then again, we're going to do long strokes up the back of the leg, the sides of the leg, and the front of the leg. And I prefer using my hands when I get up here because my hands are there and I'll get the benefit of the tennis ball, the little yellow things on your hands. All right. Now, when you're finished with the upper part of the leg, we're going to take the tennis balls and so your butt stays on the ground. I know I say this every time, but I don't want anybody to ever sit on the tennis balls. You're going to press the tennis balls in as far as it's comfortable, but your butt's still on the ground. Stretch out the legs, and then we're going to go front to back. Ooh, and I can feel those hamstrings on that tennis ball today. And then side to side. And I know that we do this a lot, but it's because I think it's really important, to start to like warm us up before we make the bigger movements. And we're going to take one tennis ball, you go right in the center of your glute, down onto the side, and you could be on your elbow, you could be on the block. You're going to decide how much weight goes into the tennis ball, because you have gravity, you have the weight of your body. And it's always interesting. It's always like, what's it going to feel like here today? And you might move around, you might stay in one spot. But the idea is to start to soften glue a little bit. Now, whenever you feel done on this side and you might want to stay a little bit longer, we're going to go on to the second side. And yes, you can be dancing both sides at the same time. I find that challenging. And so, of course, I always like think too while we're doing this, like, what's my body telling me? What's happening in those parts of the body that we're rolling on or touching? Now, when you feel done with that side, we are going to take both tennis balls to the low back. And I invite you to be really gentle here. Some of us have tender low backs. And so you're sitting up nice and tall. You place the tennis balls behind your back body. You start to lean back. And I like to move to a place where there's just, like, I can feel the connection, but there's not any sort of pain or discomfort. And then again, taking your knees side to side. Some of you will lower your body down more. That doesn't feel great in my body, so I don't like to go down too low. And you might move the tennis balls a little bit or your body. And again, when you start to feel done with that part, we're going to do one more with the tennis balls, and that's the upper part of the body. So 2 ways that we can do this. I'll show you. The first way is to lay down on your back and place the tennis balls at the top of your shoulders. If you have long hair, just moving it out of the way. And then either resting here or starting to move your body up so that the tennis balls work their way down the sides of your spine. You want to make sure that the tennis balls stay off of your spine. And some of you might like to move through your arms a little bit, either taking them up towards the sky or out to the sides. But again, always exploring what feels appropriate for you today. And it's not always the same, right? Every day is a little bit different. Now, if you're moving your body back and the tennis balls down, you want to make sure that you don't go below where your rib cage ends. You want to stay where there is structure in your body. Meaning bone, skeleton. Now, eventually, we're going to come to a place where we take those tennis balls out. And for a moment, after you take the tennis balls out, just letting your body settle into the ground. So the knees are bent, you feel your feet on the ground, you're feeling your body, you're noticing your breath. And I want you to take one hand and put it on the lower part of your torso so that your pinky is reaching towards your pubic bone. And then the other hand is going to go on your chest so that you have, again, a finger coming towards your collarbone. And breathing in fully with your body. And seeing if on the inhale, so we want the whole body to move, but our focus on the inhale is going to be pulling the breath like up through the body. And as you exhale, feeling your lower abdominals engage as a way to help the air come out of your body. If my words don't make sense, just let me
Now, once you feel that connection, you can choose to keep your hands on your body or take them down to the sides. And we're going to do this, our breathing with this a little bit differently. So I want you, normally we inhale as we rise up, but today I want you to inhale as your body's on the ground. And I want you to exhale as you're pressing up and seeing if you can feel those lower abdominals engage as you're exhaling and lifting. So inhale back on the ground. Exhale, lift up your hips and your chest may follow. Inhale, come back down. Inhale up. And after doing that a few times, we're going to pause again with our back on the ground. And this time we're going to add in some movements of the arms. So the inhale is going to be body comes up, one arm comes up and the head turns away from the arm. Exhale, arm down, head to center, hips come down. Alternating sides. Inhale, hips and chest come up, arm up, head turns away from the arm. We're alternating arms. Just moving slowly with your breath. If you feel like your butt's not coming off the ground too easily, you might walk your heels in towards your body a little bit more. We're going to do each side one more time. And then pause for a moment after your second side. And then let's walk the feet out so that they're as wide or maybe even a little bit wider than your mat. And you're going to keep your right knee pointing up towards the sky and take your left knee in towards the ground. So we're just going to move that one leg in and out. So you're keeping your right leg pointing towards the knee, pointing towards the sky, and you're just moving your left leg in and out. So it's not a windshield wiper movement, you're just moving that one leg because you're seeing how that hip flexor moves in this motion and what's happening in the front of the body and the back as you're moving that leg. Next time your left knee is pointing up towards the sky, we're going to pause there and again, just start to move through the right knee. Again, looking for information, hopefully not feeling any pain. So moving through that right knee now. One more time, and when that right knee is pointing up towards the sky, we're going to walk our feet back into about hip width and bring the knees in towards the body one at a time. And then rolling in some circles with your knees. So again, looking for information from the low back. Then after you've gone around a couple of times in each direction, we're going to take your knees so that they're just above the hips and the lower legs are parallel with the floor, your feet are flexed, hands come onto the thighs, and you're going to isometrically push into your thighs. So hands are pushing into the thighs, thighs into the hands. See if you can feel those lower abdominals engage. So a lot of times we're working on our hips and our low back. And part of what supports them is our core, right? And so seeing if you can figure out how to engage your core. Now, we're going to keep that isometric, hands into the thighs, thighs into the hands. Inhale, knees pointing up towards the sky. Exhale, take the knees in towards the chest. So the whole time you're still pushing on your thighs. Inhale, thighs move away. Exhale, knees come into your chest. One more time. I know that's a lot of work. After your next inhale, when you push the knees away, let's take the feet down to the ground one at a time. And then we're going to carefully roll over onto our side and use your hands to help you come on up. How's everybody doing?
The bodies are alive and awake.
We're going to make our way up onto our knees. And so I like to have a blanket underneath, and feel free to go ahead and add that in if that's appropriate for you. And we're gonna have the hands slightly in front of the shoulders, the knees slightly behind the hips, and as wide or a little bit wider than your shoulders and hips. Now inhale, we're gonna be up here and engaging your core muscles, and then exhale, come down towards your child's pose. So inhale is up, exhale is down, letting the back round as you come down towards the ground. Moving with your breath, so there's no race, right? It's how does your breath move, then that's how your body moves. All right, next time we come up, we're gonna turn those toes underneath. And I want you to feel your hands on the ground and take your index fingers and point them, straight forward on your mat and engage the base of your index finger, right? So engage that and see how that feels. So we want to take some of the weight out of the wrists. Now engage your pinkies and then your thumbs. And then with your toes turned under, we're going to start to lift the knees off the ground, right? So I just want you to explore lifting your knees up and coming back down, right? So not necessarily making your way all the way into down dog. So this might be a little bit more work, right? And you just let yourself hover for a moment and then come back to the ground with your knees. Then eventually we'll make our way up into a down dog and pedal through your feet. So that means bending one knee, taking the opposite heel towards the ground. Now, if this is too much on your wrists, you could be down on your elbows doing that same thing. And from here, we're going to lift up the right leg. And I just want you to lift it up and down. So inhale as you reach up, exhale as you bring it back down, same leg. And if you've been alternating, just keep alternating. Now we're going to switch sides, so take your weight into that first leg. Just inhale up and down with your leg. Now the next time that your leg comes up, let's sweep it through towards the front of your mat. And sometimes your leg needs a little bit of a hand. Some of you might like blocks under your hands. And then we're gonna bend and straighten that front leg. So your back leg stays the same. We're just bending and straightening that front knee or leg. Noticing the sensations that you feel. Now, the next time that leg is straight, I want you to pivot your back heel to the ground. And you're going to keep whatever leg is back, you're going to keep that hand on the block or the floor, and we're going to take the other hand up onto the hip. And you want to make sure your feet are still hip width apart so that you have balance. So opposite hand is in front, and then we're going to start to turn the belly towards that front leg. So revolve triangle. So both legs are straight. You might keep a slight bend in one of your knees if that's appropriate for you. And then let's bring your hand back down to the ground. Bend that front knee. We're going to step your back foot forward. We're in our forward bend. Bringing the hands onto the legs. Inhale halfway up and exhale in towards your legs. Just moving with your breath. And next time you come back towards your legs, we're going to take your hands onto the floor of the blocks and step back with your other leg. And I never called sides, so you
You just want to make sure you're on your second side now. And again, we're going to bend and straighten that front leg. So we're doing these same sort of stretches, but in different ways. So again, next time your front leg is straight, we're going to pivot that back heel to the ground. Keep your opposite hand of the leg that's in front on your block or on the floor. Bring that other hand up onto your hip. Find your balance, and then we're going to start to bring the belly towards the inner thigh. Keep breathing. And then we'll exhale towards the ground. Take your hand down, bend that front knee, and step forward with your back foot. And this time, as we come up, we're going to take the hands onto the legs. Inhale, come all the way up. And once you're up, roll through those shoulders. How's your balance now that we're on our feet? All right. Now from here, I want you to have your feet about hip width apart. And we're going to do the same movement with our arms that we did when we were on our back. So you're going to inhale, you're going to take one arm up and turn your head away from that arm. And exhale, come back to center. Right, so inhaling, one arm up, head turns away from that arm, exhale back to center. Alternating sides, breathing with your full body, being present with sensations in your body as you're moving. One more time on each side. And when you finish the second side, we're going to bring your hands to your heart center, thumbs gently resting on your breastbone. And for a moment, just reconnect with your breath, thinking about, am I breathing with my whole body, engaging the lower part of my body as I'm exhaling. And from here, we're going to release the hands down to the sides, feeling your feet on the ground. I want you for a moment, we're going to come up onto the toes. Bring the heels down and then lift your toes up off the ground. So just noticing your balance as you're doing that. Use your hands or arms as needed. So heels come up, and then toes come up. Woo! All right. So next time that your feet are flat on the ground, we're going to pause for a moment. And again, I want you to stand with your feet maybe as wide as your mat. And here, what I want you to do, you're going to take your weight into the left foot and lift the right leg up. Maybe bring your arms out to the side. Then we're going to bring that leg in and up, down and out. Keep breathing as you're moving. One more time, out to the side, and then come down. Relax for a moment and roll through your shoulders. Breathe. I felt like some of you were holding your breath while we're doing that. You want to keep breathing as we're moving. So again, feet almost as wide as your mat, but you're still safe and comfortable. And again, taking those arms out to the side, lifting the leg up and in. And you can touch down in between, or you can keep your leg off the floor for the whole time. And last time, leg out to the side, and then coming down to the ground. Taking your hands onto your thighs, pausing for a moment, inhale, body up. Exhale, we're going to come into our forward bend. And then bring your hands onto blocks or the ground. Feet are still a little bit wider than hip distance apart. Inhale with your legs straight. Exhale, bend the knees, keep your elbows straight. So you're just bending your ankles, knees, and hips. And then one of these times when your knees are bent, right? So your knees are bent, your hands are on the blocks on the floor. You're going to bring your elbows up onto your thighs. So it's kind of like a standing squat almost. And then from here, we're going to keep the legs as they are and lift our body up. Hands to your heart center, on your thighs, or up in line with your ears. And then now the movement is going to be inhale, lift up. Exhale, come down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Arms in whatever position feels good in your body. This will be our last time as you exhale down. We're going to stay in that squat. Bring your hands down onto your blocks of the floor. You're going to walk in your right foot just a little bit and reach that left leg out. And then from here, does everybody have a block in front? It looks like they'll do. We're going to keep our right hand on the floor or the block, and you're going to take your left hand onto your hip and open that hip up, and then possibly take your left arm up towards the sky, so making your way into Ardha Chandrasana or half moon. Your head can look towards the floor, the wall, or your lifted hand. Then let's bring that hand onto the hip. Close your hip, keep that leg still elevated. We're going to inhale here and then exhale that knee in towards your head. Inhale, extend the head and the leg. Exhale, bring your head and your knee in. And after this next one, we'll carefully place that foot on the ground. And before we move on, let's bring the hands onto the legs. Inhale, body up. Roll through those shoulders one more time. Now here, we're going to take your hands and clasp them at the low back. Or you might hold a strap in between your hands. We're just going to inhale, lift those arms away from the back. Exhale, take them down to the back. Still breathing. Now next time those hands come down to the low back, we're going to release the hands. Inhale up. Exhale into our forward bend. Hands onto your blocks. You're going to take the weight into the left foot and lift that right leg up. Again, you're looking for some level of comfort as we're standing on this one leg. And then we're going to keep that left hand down, take the right hand onto the hip, possibly open up your hip, keep breathing, maybe take that right arm up towards the sky, finding the place that works for you and your body, find a comfortable place for your head, continue to breathe no matter what, and when you feel complete, hand comes onto the hips, then down towards the ground, hips and shoulders point towards the ground. Inhale with the head and the leg extended. Exhale, bring your knee in towards your head. One more time. Then after you extend, we're going to bring that foot down to the ground and come all the way into our forward bend. And this time we're going to step back into a plank. So if you're on blocks, you might get rid of your blocks. Come down into a plank. Option would be to have your knees on the ground. And we're going to inhale in this plank position. Exhale, slide back into your down dog. Now, some of you might prefer to come into an up dog instead of plank, so find that position that works for you. If you're on your knees, inhale, hips forward, exhale back towards puppy pose. All right, you're finding that place that works and feels good in your body. So next time we come back into our puppy pose or our down dog, we're going to carefully walk your feet in. Bring your hands onto your legs. Inhale, slide up. And again, when you get to the top, rolling through those shoulders, maybe shaking out your arms a little bit. And if your wrists are feeling a little tender, maybe you're using them a little too much and you need to add in some finger work. So we're going to interlace the fingers, roll through your wrists a couple times in each direction. So from here, I want you, and you could make your way to, the bar in the back, or you can, if you're at home, use the back of the chair or couch. We're going to reach towards your right ankle and pull that heel towards your buttock. So what we're looking for here is that stretch in your quad. At least that's what's happening in my body. And we're going to move that knee front to back. And you're breathing and you're focused. And then very carefully, we're going to place that foot on the ground and then reach for the second side. And again, heel towards the buttock because we're wanting to stretch the front of your thigh. You're breathing, and then we're going to carefully move that knee front to back. All right. Again, when you're complete, we're going to gently release that foot to the floor. And for this next one, some of you might want to be against the wall. Some of you will be in the center of the room. We're going to have a blanket on the ground. You're going to come down onto your knees, and you might have blocks next to you. So we're going to be in a kneeling position. And the reason I sometimes like to do it against the wall is to make sure that you don't drop your hips, because we want the hips to stay above the knees when we do this pose. So to start, we're going to roll through your shoulders once or twice and notice how it feels when you take those shoulders back and open up your chest. And then after doing that a few times, we're going to bring the hands onto the low back so that your fingers are pointing down towards the ground. And here, so when I like to even think about my hands helping my pelvis stay forward, we're going to start to open up the chest. And I suggest not just letting your head drop back, like our head's way above, right? So they sit on this little neck. You want to make sure that you're not just dropping your head back, that you're totally in control of what's happening. So we're making our way towards camel pose or ustrasana. And so for some of us, this might be the pose. Some of you might start to walk your hands down your thighs. Some of you might come back onto your blocks. Some of you might reach for your heels. And I like the toes turned under so that your heels are up higher. So press your hips forward a little bit. If you find them dropping back. And then we're going to inhale on up and make our way down into some form of child's pose or puppy pose. So counterposing that position so that your back is moving in the opposite direction. So any questions about that? That feel okay for everybody? All right. So from here, we're going to make our way up again. So remember that your pose can be here, with your chest slightly open. Your pose can be hands on your thighs. You can start to make your way down a little bit, come onto the blocks or the heels. You're looking for that place where you can breathe easily and there's no discomfort. Now, next time you come up, we're going to add on to this, right? So you're going to work, you've already like explored what feels good in your body as a way of coming back into the pose. We're going to add on that movement that we did with our arms and our head. So inhale, you're going to take your right arm up, turn your head away, and find your way into that pose that works for you. Exhale, come back up to center. You might need to take a breath in between, depends on your lungs. And then second side, inhale, arm up, head turns away, find your way into that pose that works for you. Exhale, back to the center. And again, alternating sides, inhale up, head turns away from that arm, exhale, back to center. One more time on your second side. And then back to center. Beautiful, you're all doing great with this. It's a little bit different, but I think it's good to move parts of the body in a different way. So now we're gonna have our hands or our blocks out to the side. Before we move on, I just want you to, we're gonna inhale, both arms up, exhale, hands onto the low back, forehead towards the ground. If it doesn't feel good to move through the arms, you could keep your hands at the low back the whole time. So next time you come up, you're going to stretch the right leg out to the side. And you might have to move where your blocks are. We'll see what's happening. Okay, so body is upright. I like my toes pointing towards the ground, but you're gonna find a comfortable place for your ankle so that you're stable here, right? And then we're gonna bring the arms out to the sides. Inhale, body up. Exhale, we're gonna come down to the side. And you're kind of pressing your right foot into the ground as you're stretching your right arm overhead, and you're still breathing. Now on an inhale, we're going to lift up, and exhale, slide down the right leg, left arm in line with your ear, or wherever it's comfortable. Again, if it doesn't work extending the arms, you could have your hand down on your hip. Keep breathing. On an inhale, we're going to come all the way up. Exhale to the left. And now we're just going to move with the breath. Inhale up. Exhale over. Inhale up. Oh, they're looking amazing. One more time on each side. And then when we come back to the center, we're going to bring in our right leg. One more time. This time, let's keep our hands on the low back. Inhale, body up. Exhale, down towards child's pose. And some of you might prefer just to stay down and relax your arms on the ground instead of moving. You're going to do what's appropriate for you today. So on your next inhale, let's come on up. We're going to stretch out the left leg. And again, find your foundation so that you feel comfortable and stable. You can breathe easily. And then when you're ready, inhale those arms up. Exhale over to the right side. Press the left foot in the ground and extend that left arm over and keep breathing. On an inhale, whenever you're ready, coming back through the center, and then moving over to the left side, and this is one we're going to hold for a moment, but keep breathing. And then on an inhale, we're going to come up and we're going to move with your breath. Inhale up, exhale to the right, inhale up, and exhale to the left. One more time on each side. When you come up, we're going to bring in that knee. How are everybody's knees doing, by the way? Kind of, sort of. So from here, we're going to make our way down onto our backs. And what I'd like you to have close by would be your strap and a block, just so that they're within your reach. So you're going to carefully think about how you're going to get yourself down onto your back body. And then we're going to bring those knees in towards your chest. Just rest for a moment. So you might hold on to your knees, you might just have them pressing in towards your body, you might move in circles. Taking a moment to pause. And then we're going to find our strap. And we're going to place it on the padded part of the right foot and extend that leg up towards the sky. And let's bend the left knee and put that foot flat on the ground. And then with your breath, you're going to walk your hands up your strap. With your breath, we're going to inhale, leg away from the body. Exhale, bring that leg in towards your body. Next time, as you're inhaling the leg away, we're going to take both straps into the right hand and walk your left arm out onto the ground for balance. I want you to press that left foot into the ground as we start to open your right leg out to the side. Being in control, like you are paying attention to how your body's moving. You're not just giving into gravity, and then we're going to bring that leg back up. And a couple more times, working as slowly or as quickly as it feels good in your body. Leg out to the side, back up to the sky. One more time. And then next time your leg is pointing towards the sky, we're going to bring that knee in towards your armpit. So some of you will hold on to your foot, some of you will hold on to the strap. And then we're going to stretch the left leg away. So it's like a half happy baby. And that left heel may come to the ground, your leg may be bent, it may be your heel is hovering over the ground. You're finding a way that's comfortable in your body. And some of you might even still keep that left knee bent with your foot on the floor. Then very carefully, we're going to take the strap off and bring your right foot down to the ground. And take the strap on the padded part of the left foot. Walking your hands up the strap, and again, working with your breath. Inhale, leg away. Exhale, bring the left leg in towards your body. Moving with your breath.
Now, next time your leg is pointing up towards the sky, we're going to take both straps into the left hand, stretch your right arm out on the ground, and ever so slowly, you're pressing this right foot into the ground as you lower your left leg out to the side. Moving at your own pace. And next time that leg is pointing up towards the sky, using your strap or your hand, we're going to bend the left knee toward your armpit, holding onto the strap or your foot, and then we're going to stretch out your right leg. And again, you might keep the knee bent, foot on the ground, you might have your heel on the ground, you might have the leg straight and heel hovering over the ground. You're doing what feels good for you. When you start to feel done, we're going to remove the strap if you're using it, bend both knees, and one more time, take them in towards the chest. Now from here, let's bring the feet down to the ground one at a time. And we're going to use our block here. So once your feet are about hip width apart and feeling fairly close to your buttocks, we're going to lift up the hips and place your block under your pelvis. So we've been in this pose in a number of different forms today, right? So just noticing how your body feels, notice what level you want the block to be on. It has 3 different levels. I suggest level 1 or 2. And as your hips are supported, I want you to think about opening up your chest here. So gently resting the back of the head and the shoulders on the ground as you start to open up your chest. Long, smooth breaths. And then one at a time, we're going to lift the legs up towards the sky. So we're in a modified shoulder stand. What's so wonderful about this pose, there's no compromise to your head, neck, and shoulders. And you might point and flex your feet or roll through your ankles. You might just rest here for a moment. You might want to move your legs in different directions, take them out to a wide angle or into splits. Just exploring what sounds good to you today. But notice when you lifted your legs up, if you dropped your chest, so if you can have your legs up and your chest open. Now when you start to feel complete, we are going to carefully bend your legs and take your feet down to the ground one at a time. And we're going to stay in our supported bridge pose for just a moment, noticing your breath and how it feels in your body. And then when you're ready, you're going to lift your hips up and take the block out. And you might extend your arms out to the sides. We're going to do a gentle little twist here. So you might inhale, head and knees to the center. Exhale, head and knees in opposite directions. Inhale back to the center, and then do your second side. If you have another twist that you prefer, feel free to add it in now. When you feel complete with your twist, this is where you're going to ask your body if you need anything else. And if you do, you're going to add that in.
And then we're gonna start to set ourselves up for Shavasana. So as you are settling in, thinking about how your body wants to be today for Shavasana, using bolsters or blankets or just resting flat on the floor. And inviting your mind and your body to soften. At the beginning of the practice, I was joking around about, well, not joking, but talking about personalities and flexibility. And so sometimes doing things a little bit differently is what helps us to start to be more flexible in our thinking, right? So as you're settling in, letting go of any thoughts about the practice or your body, or just being one with you and your breath.
So in your time, as you're ready, starting to bring your awareness back to your breath and your body, noticing how your body feels, maybe remembering how you felt at the beginning of the practice and what your intention was for the practice. Making slow, thoughtful moves to reawaken if your body's ready. If not, you can stay on the ground a little bit longer. And for our breath practice today, I thought we'd work with a little bit of sound in extending our exhale. And so, of course, you can make the sounds out loud or to yourself. So once you're up in a comfortable seated position, taking a few long, smooth breaths, and we'll use the chant that I was just using. And so the way that this will work, we'll inhale and then exhale and make the sound. And obviously, we're going to build on it so the exhale will get a little bit longer. Okay. So we'll start with Namah, right? So nice big inhale. And then exhale. Namah. Inhale whenever you need to. And now we'll go Namaha, Namo. Namaha, Namo. Nice big inhale. We'll do that one again. Namaha, Namo. And we'll add on one more Namaha. So inhale. Namaha, Namo. Namaha. Let's do that one more time. Namaha, Namo. Namaha. Just one more time. Namaha, Namo. Namaha. Take a breath and just notice how that feels in your body. So sometimes I prefer to learn to practice extending the breath using sound instead of sometimes you do counting or other things. But for me, it's a little bit more fun to add in sound as we do that. So thank you all for joining me today. It was a really and since we were working with that little chant, let's do that as our closing. We'll just say it 3 times together. So inhaling. Namaha, Namo. Namaha. Namaha, Namo. Namaha. Namaha, Namo. Namaha. So I thank all of you, I thank all of my teachers and mentors, past and present, and I acknowledge the stillness that I've heard. Namaste. Namaste. And Namaha, Namo, Namaha, it's really the same word
words repeated over and over, and what it says is, it's not me, it's not me, it's not me. I mean, it has other meanings, but that's my intention when we're saying that, because the implication is that it's implied that there's something